so long.
Big baby. It's a shooter. What are you doing?
That's all for now.
I had just got back from a golf trip, and it was a long day, to put it lightly. And my buddy had pressured me into going out. I didn't even want to go out that night, but we ended up going out. Shelby confronted me after the bars closed. She asked how tall I was. Naturally, I said, tall enough to kick your ass. Sorry, kids. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
I don't really remember too much after that, so I just like to think of that as like my...
He doesn't remember because he was really drunk.
Yeah.
I went to O Street with my sister and her friend, and it was the first weekend before I started teaching, and I was supposed to be the DD that night, and he walked into Iggy's, and my sister was like, "Hey, Shelby, he's your type." And I was like, "No, like, I'm not drinking. I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I'm just here so you guys can drink and I can drive you home."
I was wearing a hat and I looked bald, and she said she didn't like bald guys.
He looked bald. And then, so that was like towards the beginning of our night, and then we went to the downtown bar that's not there anymore, but he was there, and we were there for a bar close, and I saw him like on the dance floor. He has really good moves when he's drunk, and then he was outside the bar after bar closed, and there were some other guys that like wouldn't leave us alone, and so that's when I walked up to him and asked him how tall he was, and then I was like, "Hey, you should pretend like you know us so that these guys can get away from us." And yeah. Our first date was at Dairy Queen. He picked me up from my apartment.
Yep.
And we went and had ice cream. Ice cream's my favorite food, but my stomach's very sensitive, so I was really nervous that we would like go get dinner somewhere and then I would get sick. So I was like, ice cream's a safe bet, we'll do that. And I texted him that night, and we were supposed to go to dinner, but I was like, "Hey, what if I told you that I want to eat ice cream for dinner?" And he was like, "I'm down, let's do it." And I lived really close to Dairy Queen, and we just went there.
Yep. Night one.
Sorry, Dad.
Got smooth moves.
Yeah, he looked at me and told me to kiss him, and I was like, "But my sister's here." And he was like, "No, it's fine, your sister won't see."
I don't remember that either.
And
probably making a whole bunch of people really proud right now.
Yeah. So I don't know, I just went for it.
I said it one night, drunkenly. Said, "I think I'm falling in love with you." And she said it back.
Well, you told me that you thought you were falling in love with me before, but then it was St. Patrick's Day 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, and I told my mom I was going to marry her that night too. We were at a hockey game.
Yeah, his mom asked him if I was the girl he was going to marry, and he said, "Shit, yeah, dude." And so then that night, they left the hockey game, and we went back on O Street, and he told me, but he was really drunk, so...
I remembered it. I do. Promise.
Okay.
I think it was probably after the first birthday that you had that we all went to David's house for a bonfire. I saw how you interacted with your family and how your family like interacted with you, and I was like, yeah, I could get used to this.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really important to me too. He met my niece and nephews for the first time, who were like my favorite people ever. Like, they are my people, and seeing him interact with them and just interact with my family like they were his own. So that was really special for me. But there was one night when we first started dating that, I don't know, we were probably a month into it, and we were at my apartment and just laid on the floor of my living room and just talked like all night long. And, you know, we told each other everything, and there was no judgment from him. There was no like questioning as far as like anything that had happened or had gone on, and he was just like, cool, let's do it. And so that was really important to me, because it was just, there was no questions asked. He was just like, all right.
So she had always told me that I would never surprise her.
Because he's not a planner.
I'm not a planner at all. I'm really bad at it. So I decided that one day I was just going to take a half day from work. I just got a new job, and I was going to go to Omaha and get a ring and just propose all in the same day. So flew up to Omaha. I was probably going like 12 over, 15 over the entire way. I'm surprised I didn't get a ticket. Went back, and on my way back I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And so I stopped at the Walmart on my way home. I got rose petals, light up candles, and I was like, okay, I got the fancy romantic stuff, and I was like, all right, how am I gonna do this like for real? And so she came home fake one time because I thought I heard the garage door open, and I like stood right on the inside of our door, and I was like, my heart was racing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I waited there for like 5 minutes and she didn't come home, but I had like rose petals and candles lit up, and like a runway, like a airplane runway, I guess. I don't know, best way to explain it. Had the lights dimmed, my heart was racing, and she never showed up. So I just like sat there right by the like runway area. A couple of minutes later, she actually did come home. She walked in and she was like, "What are you doing?" And they said you should put her things down because she just got done working. So you should put your things down and come here. So she laid her things down. She walked over, and I just told her how much I loved her, and then I proposed.
Yeah. The whole day he had been like texting me like, oh, you said you have this meeting after school. Like, what time do you think you'll be home? And I was like, I don't know. Like, but I didn't think anything of it, which is weird. Like, usually I pick up on things like that, and I just didn't. I think I was just too busy that day to really think about it. And so I got home, and I was like, it was a jeans day at work, so I was like dressed down in like a t-shirt and jeans and bundled up in my winter coat and had my work bag and everything. And I walked in and I just saw the rose petals and the candles, and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, just put your stuff down and come over here. And then I was like setting my bag down, and I remember being like, okay, this is it. Like, after I had time to process it, like, it's happening.
Yep. It's a good time.
Yeah.
She tells me what to do and I do it.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I know it's not.
No, I think we each have our own things. I would say predominantly I do, but that's because it goes back to him like not being a planner, and he's just so easygoing that he doesn't care. And
That's
so it's
it,
like,
yeah.
It's not that I'm like dominant and have to have control over everything. Like it does make me feel better, but like he just doesn't care. So he's just like, whatever. Sounds great.
Pretty go with the flow.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Always, Shelby. Always. Even when I'm 100% right, she'll never be wrong ever.
You're never 100% right.
I'm always, well, not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Rarely.
It's me. Yeah.
She doesn't know how to lose an argument.
No.
Gracefully.
I just don't lose. My parents raised a winner. It's him. It's him.
I laugh at everything. It doesn't matter if it's not funny or
It's not what you laugh at, it's how funny you are.
Oh, thanks.
No. I said you laugh at everything.
Well, yeah.
So that would be like you find everything
I
funny.
have an infectious laugh.
Infectious.
See? I'm good at it.
Because you use the wrong word. Infectious.
Sure, half of the
I'm
people out
funny.
here are laughing too.
I'm really funny, but like he won't agree to it or admit to it. So like there's a couple of times in our relationship where he's told me I'm funny, and then I like try and document it. He's more like fly by the handle funny, just because he doesn't care what people think.
See, that was funny.
But I'm more like thought out, and so it doesn't happen as often, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 100% the better dancer.
It's because he hasn't seen all my moves yet.
That's a lie. I'm just 100% better.
But I tried to get you to dance for me today, and you wouldn't, because you told me you weren't drunk.
Yeah, I wasn't drunk, so I'm the best when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
The best.
I just don't really dance ever. The best.
My first impression of Shelby is I really liked her smile, and she was willing to like go out there and initiate conversation towards me. So I was like, okay, well, she's a real go-getter, which I really like that too. She's tall, which I'm a tall guy, so naturally I enjoyed that. That was probably my first impression.
He was tall, which is something that's nice for me because I'm over 6 foot, so it's not often that you find tall guys. He had a beard, which I really like beards. Like he said, he did have a hat on, so I thought he looked bald, and I was like, no, I don't want to date a bald guy. But then once we met, he was like super talkative, really outgoing, made me feel comfortable right away, and even that carried over like into our first date when he wasn't drunk, so like that made me feel better too.
The reason I fell in love with Shelby is just because I saw how she treated other people. I'm a real big people pleaser, and I pay attention to the small details. As far as I'm a strong believer as far as you should treat others the way they treat you, and I think that she's a really good example of that. She shows a lot of people nothing but compassion and love, and I saw that from the get-go, and that's one thing that really drew me to her.
I think that we do a really good job of balancing each other out. So like I tend to be more of like a type A, like anxious person, and he's just more really relaxed and easygoing. So he just made me feel comfortable. Like he wasn't ever judgmental of, you know, if I got anxious or if I had to have things planned out to the minute or anything like that. He just gave me like a relaxed feeling, and just more of like an easygoing feeling. So that made me feel really calm when I was with him.
She's very detail oriented, and that's something that I always wish that I was better at. There are certain things that I'm really good at keeping tabs on, but she is like everything to the T, and I think that really helps me out, and I think that's something that we complement each other on as well. One other thing is like how goofy she is when like you really get to know her. And I think that that's kind of cool too, is like I'm more like outgoing, so everybody who I meet knows like, oh, that's a big goofy guy. But with her, like once you really get to know Shelby, she really opens up, and that's what I love about her, is there like this whole nother layer that nobody knows about. Really a select few, I guess I should say, and that makes her special.
He has a really funny sense of humor. We get along really well, and so we can joke with each other really well. I can give him crap and he takes it and gives it right back. But then when I am feeling anxious or sad, or you know, however I'm feeling, he does a really good job of picking up on that, and knows how to help me through that or help us through that if it's something we're going through together. And he just, you know, has the right mix of like humor and love all together at once.
She says, you know what I'm saying, all the time, and every time she says, you know what I'm saying, I said, yes, I do know what you're saying. So that's probably her like catchphrase.
He has catchphrases when he's drunk. So some ways that I know he's drunk, like when he's hit that point, is he'll say hot dog. Or I'm trying to think of what else to say. He hasn't drank that much in a long time. I would say like that's the biggest one, is the hot dog.
Ice cream, 100%. She would eat ice cream, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if she could.
I would probably say watching people play video games, like on YouTube or Twitch or whatever that is. He just watches people play the games.
My message to you, Shelby, on our wedding day is we're going to have the best day of our lives today. With everything going on in the world right now, we're going to make it count. And I trust that you and both of our families are going to come together to make this the best. And I just thank you for being here.
Jeff, I'm really excited to be able to officially start our lives together. We've had a really good 3 years so far, and you've been the best boyfriend and fiance, and I know that you're going to be the best husband and eventually dad. So I'm really excited to go through the next sequence of life together. The last few months have hit us really hard with family things and public health situations, and so you've been my rock through it all, and I'm just really glad that I'll have you there for the rest of our lives. I love you. Starting together today. I can't wait. He's watching me in the background. Turn around. Go that way. I'll start over.
We just wanted to thank everyone for coming out on a Friday evening to celebrate Shelby and I's love for each other and to celebrate this evening. Hopefully it's gorgeous out.
Yeah, we love you, and we're all glad that you're here to celebrate with us.